So we have in front of us Dr. Kumar Krishen, who is a former senior technologist at NASA Houston. He will share a lot of things with us. Importantly, his experiences in America and also about his visits to India. Recently, he was in India and he did a lot of things, met a lot of students. So we will start with Dr. Kumar Krishen. And first of all, we would ask him, where exactly are you, Dr. Kumar Krishen? Where are you and what are you doing currently?
Okay, thank you very much, Vimalji. I'm right now in Houston, south of Houston. It's called Clear Lake City. I'm only about 3-4 kilometers from Johnson Space Center. I'm doing a few things, particularly guiding researchers who are mostly abroad, a couple of them over here also. And some of them have been my interns at NASA, and they asked me advice, technical advice. Also, Vimalji, I am doing some research on exponential functions, and that's about all I can tell you.
All right, great. Can you tell us when you were in India a couple of months ago, what brought you to India and how often have you been coming to India? You have been in America, I think, for last 5 decades or so, but you have been very regular in your visits to India, which are primarily driven by your philanthropy. You come here, you sometimes give donations, you meet students, you encourage them, motivate them, share your experiences. I mean, we would not go in an elaborate way about each of your visits, but if you could tell me in brief about what exactly did you do in the last visit?
The last visit lasted for about 3 months. Let's say November, December, and January. And my focus on the last visit was doing experiments with with these students who belong to the who are from the families of farm workers in Haryana, in Uttar Pradesh, and my dream was to do some science projects with them with
All right,
hardware.
all right,
So last visit, I did 3 sets of experiments. The first set was on light. The second set of experiments was on heat, and the third set of experiments was on mechanical systems. In addition, I also guided some research at RD Engineering College in
okay.
Ghaziabad, and also guided some research for Rightly Associated Partners, RAP Incorporated. So that was the uh, big thing for me and very important thing.
You have done a lot of things. You have worked at Lockheed Martin, you have worked at NASA, you have taught at universities. So, among all the experiences that you have had, can you, I mean, if you could recall about your career journey for last 50, 55 years, can you recall one particular stint and one particular experience which was closest to your heart and which you really enjoyed doing, whether it was teaching uh, one particular lecture or one particular course or maybe one particular research project or some collaborative project that you may have worked on, anything interesting that you may recall and which you still remember with a lot of fondness.
Okay, I have several, so I cannot uh, go
Can
into
you
all
tell
of
me
them.
something
But
about
I will I will
something
give
about
you
okay, please go
I will
on.
give you one example.
Sure, sure.
So I go to Kansas State University in 1965 January, early part of January, and suddenly we are doing research on moon at Kansas State University under a grant from NASA. What research are we doing? The idea was, can we find from Earth? 1965, we hadn't been to moon. We didn't have any moon rocks, etc. But from the Earth, can we tell what kind of material is on the moon? The idea was we were worried when Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin will go down on the moon, they might experience a quicksand, and uh, we wanted to know the compaction and so on and so forth on the moon. So at Kansas State University at that time, and also University of Kansas, they were doing acoustical measurements. In other words, they were sending acoustical waves and doing the reflectivity from different materials to find some answers to this question. So first thing I did is I said, wait a minute, we need to do electromagnetic waves because we have some data from Goldstone in California, Goldstone observatories that were sending signals at X band to moon and receiving back. I said, we need to do electromagnetic waves because electromagnetic waves are vector waves. They have polarization, etc. Well, as soon as you said what at that meeting, we had all the researchers at Kansas State University in my department, electrical engineering department. We had 10, 15 researchers, we had 5, 6 professors, and I made this announcement that I'm going to work on electromagnetic waves. I'm going to make artificial moon, like 6, 7 foot circle moon and put different materials. And then I'm going to bounce the signals, electromagnetic signals off of this targets. And then I'm going to extrapolate the data to that of the Goldstone data. Everybody was so, how do I say, laughing. What is he talking about? Additionally, I told them that I will study depolarization, which had not been studied. In other words, you send a polarized wave, vertically polarized wave, which means electric vector is in the vertical plane, and it gets depolarized with different material types. So to make
Got
it
it.
short and
Yeah.
sweet, that is in my memory how they laughed. But the head of the department, Dr. W. Capsule, said, you will get the resources, you will do this research. And that's how I started at Kansas State University. I developed the electromagnetic lab with the radar, etc.
So, can you share some tips for the youngsters who want to become scientists just like you did?
See, we have a very strange thing happening in that age group. For the boys and girls from the age of, let's say, 14, 15, 16 to about 22, there is that attraction of reproductive system. So the first thing is, if you got to do something great, you got to discipline your mind. You got to have some uh, discipline in you, and you got to postpone all these things. And people will tell you, it's throughout the world, at that age group, not to spend time with boys or girls is difficult. Uh, it's very difficult. It's like doing tyag. It's like doing some sort of discipline of mind and body. So, first advice I would give you is you got to come up with a determination that my priority is to get a degree, is to get some knowledge, and then delve with other things, female, male uh, partnerships. Now, having said that, once you make up that mind that I am going to be somebody, at that point in time, I was trying to, in that age group, I was trying to be like my uh, teachers in the high school. They had a bachelor's degree, so I wanted to have a bachelor's degree. When I reached then college, I wanted to have a master's degree because most of those professors had a master's degree. Then I reached university. I just wanted to have a Dr. Kumar Krishen on my name. I wanted to have that doctorate. That burning desire to be somebody, to have some knowledge, is essential.
So, how would you differentiate these two things, knowledge and innovation, and how? Uh, what would you say to the youngsters who want to inculcate that spirit of innovation in them?
The innovation to me is you have something right now. Let's say you have a phone in your hand. And right now, the problem is I'm charging this phone so often. Now, it may or may not be possible. Now, I have a recharger, I have a recharger, I can plug that in. My point is, there are some problems with the internet. There are so many problems, it drops out. So, innovation is trying to find out some needed uh, attribute in the present technology, or trying to find out we need a product that is not available to us. So that leads you into the what I call domain of innovation. For example, can you predict an earthquake will come in Delhi, let's say 4 hours before? In Turkey, if you would have predicted the Turkey earthquake only a couple of hours before, you could have saved 50,000 people. I will tell you this. These are innovations. There are so many improvements needed. You look at the pollution in Delhi. I can tell you, I have looked at it. There is We have innovations based on solar power. You don't even need, traditional power. Solar power that can take the pollution of the air and can do similar things for water also, Yamuna also. But my point is, it will take a big thinking. It will take investment. It will take a lot of mindset that I got to purify this air. I could keep on reducing the emissions here and there and there and there. It will take years and years. But at the same time, I could have revitalized the air like we do in the case of, for example, space. We have confined these um, astronauts in a small space and we keep purifying the air. But of course, you don't have smoke there, you don't have lots of pollutants that we have in Delhi. But my point is that innovation is to be fired up about innovation is what you are looking.
Recently, American government deported hundreds of illegal immigrants back to India. That speaks volumes about the desperation of people from India to go to America. So now you have been an American citizen for many years. What would you say about this step by the U.S. government with regards to deportation of illegal immigrants back to India?
I would say, as an American, it's a must. You should not have illegals in any country.
Right.
For example, in Bharat, you can't keep on getting illegal immigrants from different parts of different countries. For example, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Pakistan, etc. You got to have a method, legal way of entering. For example, I
Right.
came legally. I was offered, green card first and citizenship, etc. So, uh, Indians, fellow Bharatvarshis, should understand that being illegally in any country is not a good thing to do. Therefore, they shouldn't be upset when they are not allowed to be here as illegal immigrants. Number two, there are opportunities in different countries of different levels. There are economic opportunities. There may or may not be social opportunities, but everything comes at a cost. So it's a balance. For example, in my case, I had no choice. If I wanted to do great research in electromagnetic waves
All
at
right.
that time, I had to come to America. That's
Right.
where I got all the infrastructure, I got the systems I could do. So my to wrap up this question is you got to understand what is it that you are looking for, and are you achieving that goal? Are you going to achieve that goal by being in some foreign country?
All right. Great. One more thing which I want to ask you is how is AI, according to you, going to change the kind of jobs that we will have and the kind of careers youngsters should pursue? Anything that you may want to say about the AI? Everybody is talking about, AI is going to take over everything. There'll be fewer jobs and there'll be very few people who will find jobs, and the way we do jobs would be very different. So, what are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts on artificial intelligence are I am a little bit using a different terminology. I call it transferred intelligence.
Okay,
Machines
interesting.
by, and I have been doing that for years now, almost 30, 35 years. It's a TI, it's not a AI. There is nothing artificial about it. I have a method of calculating my taxes. Now, what I will do is I will write a program and then I'll put my data at different places and I can calculate my taxes. I can calculate my sales tax, etc., etc. This may be a trivial example, but the point is artificial intelligence or transferred intelligence takes the human intelligence and can do it without fatigue. In other words, the machine can keep running. But by the way, you have to provide what you call power to that machine. If by chance the building goes dark, you lost
Right.
the the machines. So I wrote stories about that. Those things can happen and they do happen. If the internet is not working, you're toast. That's why human intelligence will be always needed to supervise what's going on with these machines. Number one. Number two, human intelligence will be needed to generate that huge amount of knowledge that can be then transferred into the machine so that machine can go at it repeatedly and not like not tax the human what you call fatigue. But lastly, not the least, we got to prepare these machines, right? We got
Right.
to make sure that they are reliable. Particularly, for example, if you have machines working for banks, you can get bankrupt by if the machines are not properly working. So what I'm trying to tell you is it will create more work, in my opinion, to keep these things going,
Okay.
to make them in the first place, to make them reliable, to make them long lasting, to make them cost effective, to have the reliable software.
So, in a way, are you trying to say that people should not be worried that because of AI, there'll be very few jobs and everything will be done by the machine? So, what you are proposing and suggesting, based on how what I've understood, is that people should not be worried because there'll be a lot of human resource that will be required in order to make that system continue, in order to make that system functional. Is that what you are trying to suggest?
Yes, let me give you one quick example.
Yes,
You have
please.
these cranes, you have the lot of machinery that we have now to do buildings. That doesn't mean we don't need the humans. You're
Right.
seeing in India how many humans are working on these buildings, although we have machines to do heavy lifting and this and that. So treat these machines as helpers. They're helping us where we need the help. We don't, as human beings, we have limited amount of, for example, mechanical strength. We can have machines that have huge mechanical strength. We should entertain that. But who will make those machines?
All right.
How will they be operated,
All right.
etc. So that's my point. My point is buildings are built right now with humans also working along with the machines.
All right. Sir, one last question that I would like to ask you is, like, you had a very long academic journey. You did your bachelor's, then master's, and then I think you did your second master's, then you did your PhD. These days youngsters are quite in a hurry. So what would you like to say to such people who want to make quick bucks, who may not want to undergo the toil of academic rigor, but still have that aspiration to do something big in technology and innovation and perhaps in research? Do you think it's worth spending such a long time in the academia?
Absolutely, it's worth the time. You know, haste makes waste.
Okay.
And also, in order to acquire a certain amount of knowledge, vidya, you got to have a certain amount of time. Now, there are situations where a person cannot afford. I did some tutoring. For example, in Calcutta, I was doing tutoring on the side, although I had a scholarship. So people can be very inventive, innovative in terms of finding ways to get some uh, financial help. But at the same time, let me make one crystal clear point. There's an opportunity window in terms of time. That window to me is 18 years, after your high school finishes, to about 26 years. That window of opportunity, if that is lost, it's very difficult to get back. Having the basic degrees is a must in order to thrive on further improving that knowledge.
Thank you so much. I think we will wrap it up here. But it was wonderful chatting with you, and it was great learning a lot of things from you. And I'm sure youngsters, after watching this, will also learn a lot of things and will take inspiration from you. Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much.